Jesus, revealing himself to the disciples, wants to start everything from scratch, in a sense, granting them the new beginning, not because they want it or they know how to do it, but because Jesus Christ is risen and he grants this new beginning. New meaning divinely new, on a path that only he himself knows, no one else. And so he sends them out to Galilee because they know very well everything began in Galilee. 3 days of walking to the Sea of Tiberias, where they will find Capernaum, where there's Tabgha, where there's Magdala, from where Mary of Magdala comes from, the city of Tiberias, all around that coast of the Lake of Tiberias. Everything began there. The initial calling, the first love and enthusiasm, and their hearts on fire following the Lord. But now there needs to be a new beginning. Christ needs to call them again. That's what also happens in us. We are not only called once, but this call is renewed on different occasions. Not because he needs it, but because we require it. So they go to Galilee, and instead of waiting or gathering to pray, waiting for Jesus' presence, they decide to go fishing. They're hungry, but also it shows they go to their own old way of living, their own profession. This is what came to their minds. No consulting among them. Only Peter decided, others followed. There was no even discernment process. They wanted to just go fishing, getting some food. And after the whole night, once again the story repeats itself. The empty nets. As if saying, no Jesus, no presence of the divine, their nets are empty. Which means nothing to eat. They are hungry. You might remember the conversation with the Samaritan woman. Jesus also nourishing the crowds, the thirsty and hungry hearts. Let's make sure that we understand that Christ's salvation is not only from Satan and sin, but from meaninglessness, from a life without a deeper purpose. And this deeper purpose only can be given by God, that there is more in life than this flat existence. When the Lord is not there, life is flat, just reduced to what we are supposed to do here and now, how we are going about our own existence. But now, Jesus Christ comes, and then what happens? He confronts them not when they are most successful, when they are overflowing with glorious catch, but empty nets. As if to say, you tried many times. Once again, you tried empty nets, which means you are empty. Your life is empty. You're hungry, you're upset, you're tired. We need to learn the lesson many times to reach the point that without him, it doesn't work. Sure enough, in the morning, Jesus appears on the coast, standing on the shore, asking them, children. These were grown-up men, and he calls them babies. Because in our lives, we are also little kids, like babies. We need a long time to learn the lesson. Have you caught anything to eat? Jesus doesn't ask them just to trick them Or he could have said, I know, there's nothing in your boat. But he asks them to make them reflect. And they could have said, as oftentimes human pride kicks in, saying, oh yeah, we have few down here on the bottom. I remember a number of conversations with people whose lives were going down the drain. Hey, how are things going? Great. Awesome. I'm just going for a little rehab. Oh, rehab? For what? Well, I'm cool. I'm great. Living a self-denial. Pretending. But let's notice, if they had said, yeah, we got some fish. I mean, we are professional fishermen. No miracle would have happened. Christ cannot work with a deceptive self-denial. But rather, they also answered, nope. So now he tells them what to do. That's the divine word that kicks in. Hardly ever we can find out real conversions where people's lives abound. Most of the time is when we hit the rock bottom, when our nets are empty, where there is nowhere to go to, when human faculties and abilities and skillfulness fail, Christ appears. How did it go? And as I said earlier, many people say, wonderful, 2 thumbs up. Keep carrying on like that. I wonder how long, till what point. When the Lord speaks to them, cast the net over the right side of the boat and you will find something, they don't question it. Because nothing to lose out there for them. They do it. And from zero, they go to an overabundance. This is how the Lord works. His word, when he comes and enters our broken, empty lives, his word is creative. At the beginning, he said, let there be light, and the light was. When he spoke to people, it worked. He pulled out with his word Lazarus from the darkness of the cave, being dead, and also the Roman official who came up to him around that same area saying, please, Lord, come down before my servant dies. And Jesus told him, go, your servant is alive, is well. And the man believed the word that Jesus had told him. Believed the word. The disciples right here believe the word. Hearing what is being preached and proclaimed is not meant to be just overheard or letting those words down, but to make an ascent of faith, knowing that these words are divine. This is how God works. If they had not acted upon his word, doubting, once again, automatically, I'm not really that sure that the boat would have filled up with the fish, sort of like materializing the fish in the boat. They had to act on it. And Peter remembered. That was exactly the beginning of his vocation. That's how everything began. Jesus gives the meaning to our lives. He gives overabundance so that we are no longer hungry for other superficial, worldly meaning. He's satisfied deeply. And then the disciple whom Jesus loved, John, said to Peter, it is the Lord. I wonder how oftentimes we exclaimed in this fashion, it is the Lord, because I was empty with my life broken, and he filled me up with his grace and made my life abound. It is the Lord. Only God can do like that. This is one of the proofs, evidence why a real Christianity and a witness of a Christian is attractive, because he will say, it is the Lord. Why? My nets were empty, now they are filled up. My life was broken, it was fixed. I couldn't find a profound and lasting meaning. And there we go. He set me on a completely different path where I can be happy. This is what Jesus Christ does. To conclude, the last phrase of today's gospel says, "This was now the third time Jesus was revealed to his disciples after being raised from the dead." The third time. So there was the first time, second time, and now the third. They already had the experience of risen Christ. And instead of being overjoyed, overwhelmed, and more confident, yet they needed this third time. Jesus doesn't get tired. He doesn't rebuke them saying, "I already showed myself to you twice. Why you still followed your own whim without waiting for my indications?" They needed this third time, showing that over and over again, our stubbornness, our lack of faith, our own vision of how life should go, how my plans should unfold, are not going to work out. We need to find out that it is the Lord who is patient with us, comes to us over and over again, and as the first reading was saying, until we'll get the point, hopefully not too late in life, that there is no salvation through anyone else, nor is there any other name under heaven given to the human race by which we are to be saved, delivered from meaninglessness, delivered from the power of Satan and of sin, from our contorted ways. No other way of doing it. Only the one who comes and reveals himself to us once and twice and three times, and variety of different ways, as long as we don't live in self-denial, self-deception, saying we are fine, and at the end, my plan is better than his. If the disciples on that very day had said, we can still work and try to catch fish on the other side of the lake, their nets would have remained empty. They would have remained alone. But since they heard this word, children, little infants, what have you done with your life? Alone without me, look at it. If we have it clear, then we may only say, fill me with the Holy Spirit. Fill my empty nets with your grace.